Here's a few facts about what we know so far about the El Nino rains this year. The event has been active since March 2015 and is steadily strengthening as it approaches its maximum intensity in late 2015, and that there are indications that it could become one of the most intense El Ninos in the past few decades. So that's just a brief background. That's from the World Food Program. And to tell us a little bit more about how prepared Kenya is regarding the onset of the El Nino rains, we're now joined in studio by Dr. Richard Lesiampe, Principal Secretary, State Department of Environment and Natural Resources. He's also holding on as PS for Water and Irrigation Services. Thank you so much for coming to studio to talk to us a little bit about this. So first of all, as we were saying earlier, some people don't even believe these El Nino rains are coming. They are, aren't they? It's going to happen.
Yeah, thank you, Janet. I think it's very, very important for us and as Kenyans really to acknowledge the fact that scientists, experts have confirmed with empirical evidence that El Nino rains are coming, and we therefore have to brace ourselves for these rains.
When are they expected? I know we've talked about it a little bit in our newscast, but can you tell us with authority when they're expected to start?
Already, Janet, we're experiencing El Nino rains, and what it means is that any situation where we have rainfall of more than 20 millimeters in 24 hours, that is abnormal and enhanced rainfall. And already Garissa has recorded 76.2 millimeters of rainfall in 24 hours. We have seen in Moyale 30.2. We have seen in Marsabit, in fact, a couple of days ago, 54.2 millimeters of rainfall within 24 hours. So the same has happened in Muranga and Kangema, in particular, 23.3.
So it's already happening.
And therefore, we are already experiencing enhanced rainfall, and this is actually clear signs of El Nino.
How can we best be prepared and safe? I think a lot of Kenyans, the concern is what happens if and this is really giving practical solutions. I'm caught out there, I'm taking a walk home, and suddenly these torrents come. How can we prepare Kenyans for what to expect?
Janet, before I even respond to that question, I would like to say that as a national government and the county governments, we have actually put a robust frameworks to mitigate on these El Nino rains.
Such as?
One is that the Deputy President, Honorable William Ruto, has actually held several meetings, between the county governors, development partners, NGOs. There's a cabinet committee on this. There is a principal secretary committee on this. We have technical experts in this, and we are putting mechanisms to ensure that we actually mitigate this. One, we know several sectors will be seriously affected. One is the health sector. And what we are doing is that we are already propositioning, medical and non-medical commodities in the hotspots. Two, on roads and infrastructure, we already have about 13 mobile bridges that will be positioned in areas that we anticipate that bridges will be swept away. We also have livestock and agricultural sector, where we have agreed with the county governments to see to it that we produce more vaccines, for Rift Valley fever. In fact,
because many died in the last one in 97-98.
Devolution, for example, the State Department of Devolution, and Interior have already put on board 70,000 NYS officers on standby. State Department of Interior and the National Coordination has already put the Defense Forces, KDF, NYS, KWS, and the police, regular police and administrative police on standby.
So this is all happening. Is it across the country, or is it in the hardest hit areas? How are you deploying these personnel? How are you choosing where to take them?
Yeah, it's actually across the country, but we are enhancing, more capacities in the hotspots. And we have clear hotspots, for example, Narok, and you have seen the Deputy President even today traveling there and assessing the situation. We have got hotspots like Nyando Basin, Budalangi, areas like Isiolo, Taita Taveta, the Tana Delta. These are areas that we have enhanced capacities in terms of both infrastructure and even human capacity.
What about shelters for people? Again, we're getting concerns from some writing in saying in our counties, if we're affected, we're being told to move to higher ground. Is that moving to my neighbor's place? What does that mean? Does it mean I'm moving to a shelter? What do you have to say about that?
What we have done is that we anticipate about 200,000 Kenyans to be directly affected by this, and probably about 2 million indirectly. And therefore, those people living in lowlands, we're actually saying that, and I think this is good citizenship. Good citizens who are empowered with knowledge will actually take the initiative. They actually are first defense. And we are saying that those living in lowlands should actually start preparing to move out these lowlands. Those who are living in areas that are prone to mudslides and landslides should indeed start moving out of these areas.
Did you say you're going to help them with financing to do that, or should
yes.
they just do it
As
by
a national government and a county government, we have set aside 15 billion Kenya shillings, 7 billion from the counties, almost 8 billion, 6 billion from the national government, and also from our development partners. And we intend actually to procure tents, to provide tents, not only for those displaced populations, but even for school children. We know the examinations, national examinations are going to take place during the El Nino, and we are actually prepared to provide shelter to those school children, also provide shelter to their parents.
That's very good, what you've said. How can people access this information? If someone is concerned, they're living in the lowlands, and they're hearing you say this for the first time, where can they go to get information to find out how soon they have to move, how they can access the money to move? What kind of information can they get, and where can they get that information?
Janet, this is not the first time we are saying and talking about El Nino. We started talking about El Nino, in fact, as far back as May, June, July, and indeed more intensively in October. What we are doing is that in every county we have now established emergency operations center, where the governor and the county commissioners are actually the chairs, and there is a technical team, and there is also a disaster center. We are also using the local FM radio stations, and we are also using the media really to communicate and provide this information. Our Department of Meteorology has set almost 76 automatic weather stations, which are providing us with data and information after every 20 minutes. And this will trigger information that we are going to communicate to Kenyans. But I think, as you have asked earlier on, there are very many small things that we can do. One, particularly in the urban areas, we need indeed to clear our drainage systems. We need really to clear our culverts. We need to manage waste and garbage. Even in our estates, I think we have several, we have committees and associations in our estates. I think we need to listen to this and actually clear, we do certain things. The other thing is that, driving at night, driving into a flooded road, driving into a flooded river, this is something that we should not do during this El Nino period. And indeed, we're even asking employers really to provide accommodation for those workers or employees who work in shifts during the night, and if the rains fall, they should not indeed even travel to go to their homes.
Okay. We were completely out of time, but I know you've mentioned that in every county the governor's offices have this information, so it's for people to take initiative and go there and say, this is my situation, how can I get help? That's what you're saying, is basically go and seek that information. And we also, as the national government, have got the National Disaster Operations Center, which is open 24/7, fully manned. And is there a line that you can provide us with?
We have several lines. In fact, we have several lines for the National Disaster Operations Center, 020-221-2386. We also have 020-2151-053. We also have Kenya Red Cross Society free toll line, which is 1199. And indeed, we are going also to install another toll line for the National Disaster.
I'll take those from you, and we'll run them on the screen. That's all the time we have, but thank you for giving us that information, and just ascertaining that this is something that will happen and that Kenyans just need to be prepared. Of course, Dr. Richard Lesiampe is the Principal Secretary, State Department of Environment and Natural Resources, and holding PS for Water and Irrigation Services. The El Nino rains will certainly happen. We have the contact that we can put out on air so that you can make calls if you're not sure about what to do in your area. Thank you so much again for giving us that information and for coming on set. We appreciate it.